everybody, today we are going to be doing a beautiful video all about how to bloom your bath bomb colours. Lots of people ask me, how do you get those vibrant colours? How do you get the pastel colours? How do you get the colours to stay? So today I'm actually going to show you how I go and bloom all of my bicarbonate soda. Now this step is really important and you can do it so far in advance it's not funny. So basically what we're going to do is just get our bicarb, and all we're going to be doing is literally adding the colours with a tiny bit of water, and that's going to bloom it, meaning that it's going to get all the colours to hold super tight to the bicarbonate soda, so that when you want to actually make something, you already have the colours made and they're done. So pretty much you can make them and put them in a bowl or a container and leave them there for a couple of weeks, or until you need them. I basically only do mine honestly a couple of weeks in advance, but you can do it in advance as long as you keep it in a very dark space, because do remember, water soluble dyes, they actually will lose their color if the sunlight hits them. So it's important to keep them in a container to the side. But let me flip my camera around and I'll show you exactly what I'm up to and how we're going to make them. So here are my water soluble dyes. I get all of these from Sudoff in Australia. So the website is www.sudoff.com.au, but I will leave the links down below in case I've given anything wrong. So these are the colors that I've actually bought from them. You can mix them as well. So for instance, if you want a color that I don't have here, mix two together just like you would with paint and see what you come up with. Now obviously the more you put in, the brighter the color is going to be, but generally for me, I try and keep mine to sort of a pastel color. And if you're really worried about the color not holding or something, you can also put a spoon of mica in, and that's generally what I would suggest. So if you're making purple, then just put a little bit of purple mica as well. It will help boost the color. So I'm going to show you what I do. So here, like I said, we've got our colors. Now all we need is some distilled water, and then we've just got a couple of things that we need. So we just need a glass first of all, because we're going to pre-mix some of the colors and with some water first. Then you're just going to need something to mix it up. I just use a kebab stick. It's super easy. And then last but not least, we definitely need one of these. This is just a spatula, and this is just to stir it around in our mixer. Now you can do this by hand if you want, but I don't. I do mine in a stand mixer. I've got a stand mixer that is the cheapest one you can buy from a department store, so you do not need a fancy KitchenAid. You can just use a basic one to mix the colors or pre-mix them. So let's get going. I'll get the distilled water and I'll show you how I'm going to make this exactly. Alright, so first we have our little cup. Now this is a tiny measuring cup. Now when we're talking about water, you need roughly about a teaspoon. That's honestly probably it. The top of my lid, so this is from the water bottle. Literally I'm only going to fill the top of that up, and then I am going to just literally add the colors that I want. And as I did say before, I don't make mine super bright. So you can see here I've just filled up this lid, just pop it in there. And you can see that's all we need, just a tiny bit at the bottom. Now you don't need much. Now the reason that this is not going to set and go hard like a bath bomb is we are not adding citric acid, we're not adding cream of tartar or anything to harden this up, and this tiny bit of water is not going to change anything either. So like I said, let's just get blooming. Alright, so here we are. We do have our, like I said, our little container here, and we're just going to add it in. So we'll start off with this one, which is Extreme Aqua, and like I said, this is from Sudoff. We're going to start with a really tiny bit, and basically all we want to do is blend this into the water. Once we have done this, then we're going to transfer it into the bicarb. So you'll be able to see it's just on a popsicle stick. Mix it in. If you want it brighter, of course you can add more, but I always say less is more. We can always add more later, but we can't take it out if it's too bright. And I mix mine basically with 2.5 kilos of bicarbonate soda. So I've got my bicarb in my mixer to the side, and so all we're going to do is literally pour this in and mix it around. So here is our container, of course. This is my stand mixer. And now all we're going to do is literally just pour in this blue straight into here. Just dip it in, mix it around with the spatula or the spoon to get all the colour out. And we are just going to turn this on and make it all combine into this beautiful blue. So let's just turn this on. And basically the whole idea is we're going to turn it on, mix it, then we'll turn it around, mix it again, and so on. So basically this is what we're going to do. Now in between it, we're just literally going to take this off, get our spatula in, turn it around until we get the desired colour that we actually want. Now here we are, everybody. We have come to this beautiful blue. Now I'll show you how you can actually tell that it's done. All you're going to do is get a spatula and literally just scrape like this. Now if there's little bits of dye or things like that around the outside, then you know this is not mixed properly and we need to go back and mix again. And so you should see that it's like a pretty smooth color, which I think this looks pretty smooth, and we can't really see bits of dye anywhere else. Now if you felt that this wasn't blue enough for you, you could definitely go and add more and just go again. So I will actually pop all my color combinations over on Patreon to give you the recipe for each one, how you actually come up with these. So I've also added in blue. So I did add in like a Smurf blue color from Sudoff as well in a mica to also get this along, you know, like with the dyes that we've also added in. But as I said, I will actually pop all that. So if you're a Patreon member, just go over there and you'll be able to see the recipe for each color. Now if you're not a Patreon member, please remember you can come over there and join anytime, and you'll be able to get my recipes plus an extra 50 to 52 videos more a year that everyone else gets over there that aren't on YouTube, because they do get an extra one every single week along with one recipe a week over there as well. So I hope that this video is definitely going to help some people, but let's get going. I will mix some others and I'm going to bring you back to show you all these gorgeous colors when I'm done. Now I have actually scraped it into a new bucket, so there it's going to stay until it's ready to be used. And I thought I would show you, this is after I have scraped it out. Now you can use this same one straight away to keep mixing all of your colors. You don't need to go and, you know, get lots of new containers or keep washing it out. You can use the same one as long as it's not a bright color stuck around the edge. And if you've mixed it well, you should have no dyes or anything stuck on the edge of you know, your silver mixing bowl, and then it should be beautiful like this in this gorgeous soft blue or whatever color you want. But as I said, I will give you the recipes of the colors and the combinations that I'm coming up with, and I've done quite a bit of testing to come up with these. But you know, if you don't like these or you want a brighter one, definitely just test a little bit more. That's all I suggest. Now one thing that I probably didn't show at the start was that I'm basically popping this onto my scale. I do also have a sifter, and of course this is the metal bowl that we were using before. So I'm literally going to just weigh out some bicarbonate soda. I'm going to put 2.5 kilos of bicarb in there. I do sift everything because that is what's going to get the super smooth, gorgeous bath bombs. And then once we're going to make the bath bomb, we will definitely sift this again. And like I said, that's what actually gives these super beautiful, smooth bath bombs that just look gorgeous. So like I said, we're going to keep going with this. We're going to be doing all the different colors, and I will bring you back and I'm going to show you all the colors, and we'll talk about those a little bit more, like I said, as we're going along. But for now, I'm going to get going with all these colors, making them look beautiful, because I have only 4 bath bombs left in my whole range. Pretty much everything else sold over the Christmas crazy period. So let's get making. So I have finally finished blooming them, and I thought I would show you all of the beautiful colours that I actually did get out of everything. So now, like I said, these colours are from Sudoff in Australia. They're just a water soluble dye, and then of course you can add a mica just in case, you know, the sun hits them and takes away the colour, because as we know, water soluble dyes, that can actually happen when they're sitting in the sun. So here is another little beauty in here. So this one here is a more of a pink kind of one, so you can choose how you want to do them, of course. But now we'll go through the colors so that I can tell you exactly the ones I've used. So this particular one here is called Cherry Red, so that is the beautiful cherry red water soluble dye. Then we go to this one. I think this is called Azure Blue. It is that small popping blue sort of color, but I've only used a very small amount. Now if you want it bright, just add more, but as I did say earlier, I only like mine to be a really light sort of color. Then in here, this is actually the teal, and you can see I've used a really small bit of teal. If you want them to be bright teal, of course use more once again, and I've used less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, so a very, very small amount. So this one here is the apple. So this is called apple water soluble. It's one of my favorites. Every time I make it, everyone seems to love it. Now one thing that's important, remember these are going to get brighter when we add the citric acid. Citric acid will definitely brighten them up. And this one here is called granulated orange, and if I hold the camera a certain way, it definitely will show you more of the orange. It is quite bright. Then we go to this purple. So this one here is called amethyst. They also have another one called violet, and violet's just a little bit lighter. And I do have violet as well, but today I just decided to use amethyst. But mixing violet and amethyst together gives a beautiful sort of bluey purple, which I really, really love. So now this one here is called granulated yellow. It's really beautiful. You can get from a lemon right up to a really citrus sort of bright color with that. And the last one here, and I know it looks purple, but I promise you it will come out bright pink. This one here is called acid red. Now acid red is more of a magenta pink, and once I add the citric acid, it will become a bright sort of pink. So I hope you have loved all of my colors. I'm going to get on to making some bath bombs soon, and I will have another bath bomb video out super duper soon. And then these ones here are the molds that I'm going to be using. These ones are from a company called Lee Molds in Australia, very, very similar to Cater Molds. So these are the ones I'm going to use. You'll also get some different ones if you're in other countries on Etsy. I know lots of people sell them on Etsy, but I really do love them. And then this one here, if I can open it up and show you, this one has this indent in it, and the indent is great because what it actually does is allows you to fill it with cocoa butter, some florals, or anything you want to fill it with, which is super good, or some bubble frosting, which I often use on mine. So like I said, once again, I hope you have enjoyed this video, seeing all these beautiful colors. I will actually link all the gorgeous colors down below. And one thing to remember as well, if you're doing white, even though white obviously doesn't need to be mixed because it doesn't have a color in it, I still put 1 tablespoon of water into my white, and then what I actually do is just set that one aside exactly the same way I do these. So I just mix it up exactly the same, but just with the water, because that 1 tablespoon of water, or teaspoon depending on, you know, how big the mix is, really does help your mix stay nice, combined, and tight. So look out for my next videos and you'll see how smooth my bath bombs are. And now as you can see here, you can see like a little clumping, and if I hold it in my hand, it's very, very soft. So, but the one thing to remember is when I'm going to be putting this back through the mixer to add the oils and the fragrance, it's definitely going to go back through a sifter again, and that will make your bath bombs beautiful. So I don't sell my bath bombs for $5 or anything. They're $10 for my bath bombs, and that's because there's a lot more work that I'm putting into it. As you can see, from blooming to double sifting, you know, the beautiful oils. I do use jojoba oil oil, sweet almond oil, and so on in mine. And there's lots of my recipes for free on YouTube. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, and I will keep rolling this video and I'll show you the other colors as we go along. So enjoy, and I will see you on the next video.